Are you a real estate agent with kids and you're just getting overwhelmed by the stress of having to work on your business and also trying to be there as a parent? Then I understand. In this video, I'm going to talk about the biggest stresses and solutions I have found being a parent and also being a real estate agent, which, let's be honest, is just like being a parent to your clients. So let's go. What's up, everyone? My name is Cameron Hodge, a realtor with EXP, and on this channel we talk about my past 2 years of being an agent, what it's like being a part of EXP Realty, and also my journey as I progress forward in this career. And if you were thinking about making the move to EXP or you're on the fence, reach out by call, text, email, whatever you have to do. I have your back and I'm here for you when you're looking at making the move to EXP Realty. And also, don't forget to hit the subscribe and like and bell icon so you can be notified every time I drop a new video. All right, so being a parent, being a real estate agent, it is, if you're a parent, you completely understand, it is absolutely chaos. Now, when I started the industry, I had my first broker, I was a part of a team working as an ISA right before I got licensed, and I had an office that was physical to go to. But in that first year, I really realized that all of a sudden, after that first year, my wife's like, hey, you don't exist anymore. Your kids don't even see you anymore. You're working 7 days a week. You're not making any money, really. You're making nothing. We're still struggling. This is, and it was just absolute chaos. And then I started to be like, oh my God, I'm right. I'm not there for my kids. I'm not doing enough. And then all of a sudden you take some major time off. And all of a sudden you're like, wait, I'm not bringing any income to my business. Now I'm taking time off and doing all this. And it's just chaos left and right. And if you've been newer in the industry, you're got licensed, or you're in the industry, but now you have kids, you understand what I'm talking about. Now, I don't know what it's like being a single parent. Thankfully, thank God that I don't. But even having a spouse, I'm just going to speak from my experience in that. Let me know in the comments below if any of these things speak to you, and then I'm happy to hear, and maybe you can help someone else who's also understanding this stress. So, first year, absolute dumpster fire. I worked like crazy. I barely brought any money in. Things were still kind of struggling. And then finally, with some other reasons, I left my first broker and moved to Real Broker and then EXP in 2021 in that same year, several months apart. I have talked about that in other videos, but for this video, I'll tell you that when I made the jump from the broker, I realized really quick, teams are a blessing. But in the role that I was playing in that team, my schedule was subject to the team. Every Tuesday they had a meeting in person. You could be on Zoom, but I realized they would have the meeting at I think it was 9 or 10. I don't know. It was later in the day, and it was just, I'm like, man, I should be prospecting this day, because I started to find people that I understood, and I'm like, I want to be like this person. I love what they're saying. I want this to be my prospecting time, and it really started to cut into that. And I'm like, oh man. And then at the same time, it's I'm going there to the meeting, and personally, I feel like it just wasn't fully useful of my time. I really wasn't learning anything. All I'm hearing about is how the other agents on the team are doing deals, and they'll be like, Cameron, do you have anything new? And I'm like, no. So if that's you, I feel you. So I realized after leaving that team that I'm like, okay, in the beginning I started to work just as much, and then I started to realize, I'm like, wait, what am I doing? I need to start structuring my day better. And being a parent, you understand, you only can structure a day so much before your kids, once they're awake, they're pulling at your heartstrings. Especially once I left that team, joined EXP, I'm in a cloud brokerage, yes, so you do get access to Regis offices. And if you have one in your area, you can go there and work physically. Me personally, at the time I was in San Diego, and I don't like having to drive in traffic and go there. And personally, it's just not my thing. I working from home. I like being able to roll straight into an office, and I can structure my life to do that effectively. But if you're not, then that is an option you have. Being with us at EXP is that you have access to that office that you could go to if you need to. Now, one thing I did realize in the beginning is I was waking up probably 6, 7, and by that point I'm barely having any time to even wake up, let alone be done with my minor tasks or things that could actually move my business forward. So I even started sleeping in the office next door. I know some people are like, well, you're not sleeping with your spouse? No. Now, at the time, we were still in San Diego before making the move, and we were sleeping with my mother-in-law's house, so it worked out just for sleeping arrangements for our kids to sleep in the same bed as my wife, one of them. And we were in a position to I was like, you know what? I want to wake up at 5:30 every single day so I can have my time. And I slept in the other office and I made it work. It was a weird, and like whatever, people are like, you're crazy. I'm like, absolutely, I'm crazy, because I knew that that's what I had to do for me, and I was willing to make that sacrifice without having to make my family suffer. So if you're a parent, realize that there are sacrifices you're going to have to make. We know as parents that there are things that we would love to do, like this perfect world, it just doesn't exist. Especially if a kid's sick or something like that. But I knew 9 times out of 10 at 5:30 in the morning, it was just me. And I could have my coffee, I could do some exercise, even walking, yoga, it doesn't matter what it is, I could do something, I could read, and I could write my goals and journal and just get my mindset right before starting my day. And then I could assess what are my major income producing activities that I need to do for my business and do it. Because at 8 a.m. later, I'm making calls. Clients have issues or problems, or like, hey, did you see this house? I want to go show it. And kids are awake and it's just chaos, and start pulling at your day. It's just setting that side times like, hey, now my family knows, like, hey, if I need to make videos or calls, like they will separate. But I realized in the beginning I would fight my kids working from home. I'd be like, oh, I'm on the phone, you have to go. I realized that once I stopped caring, they're like all my clients in the past year have, and some people might disagree with me, I do not care. Because I realized once I stopped caring, if they heard my kids in the background, people don't care. In fact, most of them are like, oh, those are your kids? Like, yeah, they're my kids. I call them my coworkers. They're my little assistants. And people love that. And, well, at least the clients I want to work with, they love it. They're like, oh, they're either a grandparent, a parent themselves, or like looking to have kids. Or they're like, wow, I respect that you're doing all this work for me and you have kids. I'm like, yeah. If I'm not with you, I'm with my kids. And I tell it to all my clients. So these are my working hours. This is when I do this and this. And obviously, we're in escrow and there's an emergency. There's always flexible. But if you can't, if it's like outside those working hours, I'm with my family. So just understand that. And they all respect that and they love it. So having kids, you have to make sure that you set the boundaries with your clients, A, and B, realize you don't always have to sacrifice time with them. Now, I will say I work a lot at this point in time. I do have aspirations of eventually building a team and getting to that point, hopefully in the near future, in the next year or so, and being in a position to where I can now, having agents underneath me to do a lot of the buyers and stuff like that, and I can kind of start to give more time to my family. And the business part is me focusing on what's moving it forward, but I'm not there yet. So I'm living with it day in and day out and trying to make it work. And I'm learning as I go. I'm not perfect. There are definitely seasons where I work way too much and I don't spend any time with the family. One thing I did do now that my oldest is now old enough to do soccer on Saturdays is Saturdays are my day. And I have not deviated from that. And surprisingly, it really hasn't hurt my business. I will take inbound calls. Now, honestly, while I'm at soccer, I don't really answer anything. But outside of that time period, I will during normal working hours take inbound calls from new leads, because I am in a position where I do have to take that. And and those phone numbers are labeled, so that way I know it's a lead when it comes in. My clients know that I'm busy doing that day, so they can send me a text or email, and I'll respond to it if I have time. If not, it's just not going to happen. But I set that in place to where I knew that was important for my son, and I was going to be there. And one thing you also have to be comfortable with as a parent is you understand, whether you have a spouse or you're just single by yourself, when kids are sick, I got 2 kids and the one is only 2. My oldest is about to be 5 this year. But when they're sick and they have to go to the doctor, even though my wife doesn't work and I'm thankful that she's here to take care of our boys, there are days where it's just look, if they're both sick, it is what it is. Now I still get stuff done. There's days where I have to do work. I put down a little mattress in the office here, and my oldest, I'm taking care of him, making sure he's comfortable, and he's just chilling. And he's just laying down, relaxing, even eventually taking a nap when he wasn't feeling good. And I was still getting my calls done and stuff like that. And if people are like, hey, oh yeah, could you set me up on showings? I'm like, absolutely, it will be done by this afternoon. My oldest is sick today, so I'm working through it, and they completely understand. And obviously it's not with COVID or anything like that, so don't go crazy on me here. But it's it's realizing that making them a part of your life. And honestly, I love there are even times I've had to show houses, right? Obviously at the time of living with my mother-in-law, that's 2 different families, 2 different schedules, and she was also a college professor teaching Zoom classes. And she's like, hey, I have a Zoom class, but I have showings. My wife's like, look, we only have 1 car at the time, and we're like, you know what? Family trip. I have to show houses. They can sit in the van and relax in the mobile command center, and I can go show houses to my clients. My clients love it. We bring water. It's they don't go in the house, obviously. Like, I'm here to do my job, and I'm here to work with my clients to make sure I'm there for them, and there is that separation even in those. And that's only happened like once or twice ever, because sometimes life just happens like that. Or it's even times where, like, you know, we were living in a condo before that, and it was getting fully renovated, and it's life. I'm not apologetic with it. You know, a lot of us, I feel like, see like the superstars out there rocking it, and they're just, you know, they're like, oh, I have all this time, or like I have a nanny, and like I'm just a real person with real struggles. And, you know, it's just I think my biggest thing, my biggest takeaway that I can leave with you is be there, and incorporate your kids into your business. So those are my top takeaways of being a parent and a real estate agent. It's chaos, and it's just nuts. But if you're looking to move to a brokerage that can help you set up a foundation for the career that you want, and not only that, but also help your family and just make it all a cohesive ability, and also honestly just find people that like think like you and are here to help you, then give me a call, text, email, whatever you need to do. I am here for you. Even if I am not the perfect fit and you're like, look, I need someone who's like, you're running a team and I need someone who can do that, I have my upline that do millions and billions of dollars in volume of real estate every year, and they are more than happy to jump on the call with me so we can help you and see if this is the right fit for you. And without that, I will see you in the next video.